What's up, everyone? Jim and Scott here, reacting to today's big Marvel Studios announcement about Thor Ragnarok, the upcoming third movie. A hell of a cast. An Oscar winner has joined the MCU, yet the latest Oscar winner. Yes. Tell the folks a little bit about who's joined the cast today. Official announcement.
Yeah, it's official announcement from Marvel, so it's all definite. I love the Thor movies. I know they're not like the people's favorite movies, but I love them as they go so deep into the mythology and the geekiness, right. and this is like a perfect example. We've got Kate Blanchett is playing Hel, or Hela, who is the queen of the underworld, basically, in Asgardian myth.
And they released a concept art of that too,
and it looks, she's got the crazy, intricate helmet and everything. We've got, well, of course, Mark Ruffalo's on board as the Hulk.
Yep.
We have Carl Urban is playing Scourge, the Executioner.
You might remember him as Dredd, Judge Dredd in the reboot.
Yeah, Judge
and
Dredd.
Of course, Dr. McCoy and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and Chronicles of Riddick.
Chronicles of Riddick.
There, right? And then we also have the Valkyrie is playing Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, Tessa Thompson from Creed.
And so Valkyrie is another classic Marvel character. She was in I always remember in the Defenders.
Yeah.
Right, but she's an Asgardian shield maiden, kind of a Sith type, right? She has a kind of a wacky backstory, I think, where involving like her spirit it possesses human bodies or something like that. And then who am I forgetting? Is there someone else?
Yeah, well, Anthony Hopkins confirmed to return. Jeff Goldblum.
Right.
The one and only Jeff Goldblum as the Grand Master.
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous looking character, but he's actually perfect for it.
It's great, yeah. I mean, Goldblum, of course, right?
Yeah.
So, so the Grand Master is one of in the comics, he's one of the elders of the universe, which are these like ancient cosmic beings. The Collector is one of them also.
Yeah.
So Benicio del Toro's character from Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of sort of a brother to the Games Master.
Yeah.
So they're just going deep into that wacky, crazy cosmology. Awesome. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Jeff Goldblum, though, playing this, he's physically a good type of a tall, kind of lean guy, kind of a beaky kind of face, but like, he'll have this big white, almost pompadour thing and blue skin, and I hope to go with the ridiculous yellow cloak.
Yeah, the gown. He's basically wearing like a.
It's like a Moo / Elvis costume. It's like a really bizarre, amazing thing.
And so the other thing about that character, which is interesting, is that his whole thing is that because these sort of almost immortal creatures, like in the comics, like the Collector and the Games Master and all these elders, because they have to find ways to spend the eons of their lifetime, they kind of develop these like super hobbies. They're basically fanboy, the ultimate example of a fanboy. So like his whole thing is that he's super into games and challenges and things like that. And so there was I think it was actually Marvel's first limited series they ever did. It was called Contest of Champions.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, like back in the day, and he pitted the superheroes against other characters in sort of a gladiator type combat.
So sort of a Planet Hulk.
Kind of a Planet Hulk thing, and we know Thor and Hulk are teaming up in this.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo officially announced.
Yeah, and the rumor has been that there was going to be kind of a Planet Hulk aspect to this movie. So this seems to confirm that rumor. Which is really cool, like
the Contest of Champions. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, remember that?
That's insane. That was one of the first.
Yeah, it was before Secret Wars.
I remember that. Holy crap! Wow, they're going.
And they've adapted it recently. I think there's a game now, a video game, but then also it was just recently on the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. I just saw my kid was watching it, and I was like, "This is the Contest of Champions," So they've done adaptations of it before with that character, and he's
that's a way to get around the Planet Hulk thing and stuff. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie is interesting pick. She's a hot up and coming actor and completes Marvel's sort of adoption of everyone from Creed. From Black Panther director Ryan Coogler made Creed. Michael B. Jordan is going to be in Black Panther.
Right.
Sylvester Stallone is set to have a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy too. So this is pretty much like, you can tell Marvel loves Creed.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Now we should point out that none of the human characters are returning.
Yeah.
There's no Stellan Skarsgård, no Kat Dennings, and no Natalie Portman. And they did talk about that recently. Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios president and producer of this movie, said that once you see it, you'll understand why, because most of it is going to be set in space. So, here's my question then. So, Hulk disappears at the end of Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Right? He just kind of flies off, and
Yeah.
now they can't get a beat on him. So what? So the Grandmaster like Hulk naps Bruce Banner?
Possibly,
Basically, is that
yeah,
how
could
does
be.
one how would he do that? I'm
Yeah.
just curious.
How does one nap a Hulk? Yeah.
Yes, we'll find out. I guess
He lives in space. I guess he must have teleportation. I mean, you know,
guess so,
the
yeah.
Asgardians can teleport, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
but
I
there
don't
have
know.
been rumors. Yeah, there had been rumors that this was going to be a cosmic road trip
Yeah.
movie. But I mean, it does sound a lot like Gladiator, where that I won't say that had a road trip aspect, but you know, you get captured. There's the journey to the Colosseum. There's the training and all that.
Yeah.
Jazz. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. But where does the actual Ragnarok, the end of all things? How
Right.
does that play into?
Right.
I guess those are the stakes you're fighting for. You do
Maybe.
my bidding, and
Well,
I'll let
so-
your entire plane of existence exist. you know?
Perhaps. So I guess in Contest of Champions, the Games Master was wagering against a character that turned out to be Death, the personification of Death, which is, of course, who Thanos is in love with. You know,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother story. So possibly in this case, it's Hela,
Okay.
who he's wagering with. Maybe the end
Yeah.
of reality is what it's at stake, Ragnarok.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So, yeah, and of course we should also say that Scourge figured prominently in Walt Simonson's classic run on Thor in the 80s,
Yeah.
where he actually, even though he was always a bad guy, sort of a bad guy, in love with the Enchantress and work
Who's
kind of did her
not
bidding.
in this, but
Who's not in this, it seems, yeah, which is weird. But he, in that storyline, he wound up kind of teaming up with Thor and his buddies for the, you know, because they were trying to prevent the end
Yeah.
of reality, right?
Yeah.
So
frenemies.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that we haven't gotten haven't had Enchantress pop up here yet.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be interesting. I mean, Carl Urban he's a tall guy, but you know, when I think of Scourge, I think of like, you know, Dwayne Johnson or something.
I don't think of like
Phil
such a
Vidor.
pretty boy. You know?
I thought,
he's-
like when I first heard, Carl Urban's in Thor 3, I was thinking, oh, he's Balder.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, where
because
is
we haven't
Balder?
seen. Oh, we should also point out there was no mention of the Warriors 3 or Sif.
No, although I noticed Sif, the actress Jamie
Alexander.
Alexander, she said something on Twitter like, "Oh, don't." Some fan commented on that, and
Yeah.
she said something like, "Don't worry." So maybe they just weren't in the
Yeah.
official release.
Yeah, they
but-
could just have a small. I mean, they've had increasingly smaller roles in
Yeah,
some ways.
yeah.
Like,
And she's-
Hogan was barely in for the
Right,
Dark
yeah.
World, so yeah.
And Thor had in the comics, he has a romantic history with the Valkyrie as well. So that, you know, they ditched Natalie Portman, like,
Yeah.
they don't need Sif either if they're pursuing this, you know.
Yeah,
so,
interesting.
Yeah, so, and it also makes sense that in a way because Jane Foster kind of was not always the love interest in the Thor comics. Like, they kind of got rid of her for a while.
You're gonna. That's a you can't tame that beast.
Yeah.
He's gonna do what Thor's gonna do.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, we're loving just again Marvel getting stellar cast for their
Yeah.
movies. Oscar winners
Yep.
galore now. I mean, I used to joke that, you know, one day they'll announce that Daniel Day-Lewis is playing MODOK, and now I don't know. I don't
happen.
think it's that ridiculous
Yeah,
a
could
joke
happen.
anymore.
And he
Because
might win an Oscar for it, too.
yeah, exactly. I mean, his prep for that role, when he just removes, you know, his lower half of his body just to be prepared for the MODOK of it all. All right, well, we're really stoked on this. Jeff
Yeah.
Goldblum, Kate Blanchett, Carl Urban, Tessa Thompson, the whole gang
Yeah.
pretty much coming back except for the humans. We want to hear, what do you folks think of this casting? Or what do you think about this whole sort of potential contest of champions angle there? Let us know in the comments. And for all things Marvel, including Thor Ragnarok, keep it here on IGN.